this week is obviously Zack Snyder's Justice League. I've been waiting for a really long time for this movie. Ever since I saw 2017 Justice League, I was really looking forward to seeing that movie. I was very excited about it, and it just didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. There were a lot of issues that I had with it.
Are your expectations subverted, Josh?
My expectations were just plain not met. I had issues with the acting, with some of the dialogue, with the editing. It just, it felt like stuff was definitely missing, and now we know why. With Justice League, Snyder Man or Snyder Man.
I'm leaving that in.
That's a new hero, Snyder Man. With with Zack Snyder's Justice League, I'm not even going to talk about the length, okay? Because we know it's 4 hours.
It's every bit of 4 hours.
And there's different ways you can consume it. I'm not going to judge it based off of its length because, you could watch this like a Falcon and Winter Soldier and watch
so
it.
So many jokes I'm not saying right now.
6 parts. So you could divide it into 6 parts and watch it that way. So I'm not going to talk about that. What I am going to talk about is I had a couple issues.
You know what? It's interesting because you say it's 6 parts. Mm-hmm. Where did they ever get the idea to release it in 4 parts?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not sure. And in addition to the 6 parts too, there's like a prologue and an epilogue as well.
So maybe it would have been 2 parts per release because that kind of makes it 8 parts.
And so I got exactly what I wanted, even though there were a couple things with this movie that I had an issue with, just a couple minor things.
Yeah, me too.
This for me is already one of my favorite superhero films. It greatly expands and improves upon the 2017 Justice League. It just gives you so much more backstory, and there's so much more room for these characters in this story to breathe. I felt like it was a much more coherent story. The editing was great. All that cheesy dialogue that I had an issue with was not here. It was not in this film.
Yeah.
The action, the visuals were just blew my mind. I was just, I felt so engrossed in the action and everything. It pulled you right in. The colors, the visuals, I think were just great. I didn't notice the CGI a whole lot. I believed in what was being presented to me. And I really enjoyed it, and just again taking time with those characters, and really getting to see. And I'm not going to get into spoilers or anything, but everybody probably knows that Darkseid is a part of this film. Darkseid was not a part of 2017's film, and it really gives you a direction and a reason. Like, what is Steppenwolf's end game? What is his reason? What's the deal with these mother boxes? You get so much more backstory. It's a coherent story. You know that Darkseid's pulling the strings, and he's almost like this Thanos of the DC universe here in this story. And I loved how when you watch Man of Steel, I just watched Man of Steel the other night, and I watched Batman versus Superman recently. Now, when you watch Man of Steel, and then that leads right into Batman versus Superman, and now Batman versus Superman leads right into Justice League. And it's
this is seamless. Kind of a trilogy now, more or less. And I think that's what I appreciate the most about it. And like, this is coming from someone, and we talked about this a little bit ago. Like, I'm not one that hated the 2017 one. I didn't have a problem with it. Like, everything you mentioned about it, I noticed, and those problems are there. I was a little bit more willing to forgive it for some reason. But I mean, I could definitely tell there was disjointedness all along, with different directors and like that type of stuff. You could see where the Joss Whedon comedy came in and all that other stuff. But like, it's, I mean, I could see like all that stuff was there. For some reason I was a little bit more okay with it. But this was hands down an improvement. Overall, the whole way through on that entry. So it was, and honestly, this is something I never thought I'd get to see. I never thought we would actually see this movie, but we did, and it's good. I'm glad that we got that because it was definitely a more enjoyable experience than the first, even from someone that did like the first.
Yeah, and I think what an amazing thing to happen. I mean, like you
Yeah.
said, I didn't think we were going to get this. I thought it was probably out there, but I didn't think we'd ever see it.
I thought we
And
might get like an extended version of the 2017 version at some point. I thought we might
right.
get some like deleted scenes put in that still kind of fit that movie. I thought that's kind of what we would
Mm.
get. But we got an entirely different movie. This is an entirely different movie.
It is. Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, you can see some of the same stuff that got used. Uh, but really, overall, this is a brand new movie.
yeah, and I think, Zack Snyder films a lot of stuff like when he makes
Yeah, I
when
can
he makes
tell.
a movie. And so he had like all this stuff filmed except for
Yeah,
I think like the some of the scenes in that like the epilogue.
right.
Um was like something new that he filmed is my understanding, but they just improved upon they put money into improving everything and visual effects and putting it all together and everything, but a
Yeah,
lot of this stuff was already shot, and he just obviously dropped all the Joss Whedon stuff that was shot and just kept the stuff that he shot. um and I loved seeing his vision here, and I would love to see a sequel to this movie. I mean, it leaves the door open for that if Warner Brothers would ever be on board with getting Zack Snyder back and having him do another one. I'd love to see it. And I think where just for comparison, and I think we're gonna, like you said, do more in depth next week, but
yeah.
in take a spoiler look next week. But if I were to, give Justice League, and I like to do scores and stuff, but you don't have to. I know you don't like it. But if let's say I'd give Justice League in 2017 probably like a 6 or a 6.5, I'd probably give this one like a 9 or a 9.5. I mean, it's up there for me, and
Okay.
other than a couple issues.
I give it 4 out of 5 batarangs.
I like it. I like it. Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
my
mean,
recommendation.
yeah, I agree with that. I mean, like I said, I like it a lot. There's a couple things that I'm not sold on with it. I want to
Mhm.
watch it one more time, and then we'll talk about it again next week. But we'll dive into more in depth for me, I think, next week.